My friends were telling me, you're going bald. I think it started around the age of 15 or 16. Looking back at pictures, you can clearly see the difference between me being 13 and 14, having this head of hair, and then just gradually going down, taking a shower every morning. You can see the hair always just more and more every day. If it comes up to a point like, oh, this is too much, I'll shave it off. But I thought that point would come maybe at age 25, 26. Not at age 21. I'm also not the tallest person in our friends group, so people were always looking over me and looking down at me. They could always see my scalp. You know, my friends, they were always making funny jokes.
Do you remember how you first noticed?
Probably the hair in the shower, looking down and seeing, oh, there's a bit of hair there. That just started happening every single day. It was painful at first. Really, my mother, she also started noticing, oh, it's thinning down quite a lot. Looking in the mirror every single day, how am I gonna look okay, bringing a hat every single day or bringing an umbrella every single day just in case it rains, or people can really see just like my scalp to my hair because it's been wet. Also, you knowing that you're the only person in your entire school that has to go through it. Trying to just put on a smile, try and get on with my life.
Were there times where your insecurities were heightened?
I remember like a picture of me standing in the rain. You couldn't even see the hair, just like seeing my scalp really. That was like a painful moment. Dating when you're like 15 or 16-year-old, an inevitable question will always come up like, oh, is something happening to your hair? You're a 16-year-old dude trying to just say, oh no, nothing's wrong, or you know, it just started happening and I'm not sure what's it going to be like. But it's always a question that comes up, or that came up at least. Are you insecure about your hair? Or are you going to be bald? At the time, I didn't really think it through. I just like saying, oh no, it's not going to be anything. It's gonna be fine or whatever. But maybe I should have owned it at the moment and just saying like, okay, you know what? In 4 to 5 years, I am going to be bald and we'll see what happens. But there were for sure moments where I just woke up in the morning looking in the mirror and saying, okay, this is gonna be a bad day. I also started wearing a lot of hats, even in classes, which wasn't really allowed. I just like, okay, can I keep my hat on? And of course I had to take it off. And then, you know, everybody knew in the class, okay, you just, you know, trying to hide it.
You said you had it in your mind, eventually I'll shave it. What gave you the idea then, rather than trying to use medications or...
My dad's been bald my whole life. Looking at pictures of my grandfathers, they were bald as well. So I kind of always knew like, look, it's going to happen eventually. I mean, my friends joked about the fact like, oh, maybe we should go to Turkey and do some stuff there.
Yeah.
They always do those things. No, you know what? If I'm going to be bald, I'm going to be bald. The thing was, I just didn't really know when. And of course, those years of me being like 18, 19, 20 years old, they were harsh and they were painful. But I never really ventured into those medications. And that may be just like my personality, because I've heard from other people who do the complete opposite. If it makes them happy, it makes them happy. But I just figured like, okay, if this is going to be my fate, it'll happen eventually. And I'll make sure to deal with it when the time comes. Just again, like I said, it came just a bit more quickly than I thought. Seeing like every single thing just gradually going worse and worse, I gladly took the decision of just trying to, okay, it's enough. And I just went to a hairdresser not far from my dorm here, and I just said, look, shave it all off. And he was looking at me saying, are you sure it's a request coming to me? I've been dealing with this for the past couple of years. This is what I want right now. And he said, okay, fine. I'll use my clippers and we'll go down gradually. If you have any, just stop. And I said, you know what, if you're gonna do that, that's not gonna end well. I'm just gonna stop like 2 or 4 millimeters. There's still gonna be hair. I just said, just shave it all off. Just seeing like the hair fall off. At first it was like, okay, I made a terrible decision. This is going to be, oh my god. But then he cleaned it all up and I was looking at me and I just started smiling. I just met my friends that evening and they were just wild. Like, I haven't met a single person from like my pre-bald life, my friends from when I was younger, or meeting new people when I'm going to have a drink, something now, who say that I look worse with a bald head. Like, no one. So glad I did it.
You said, you know, you just started smiling. What do you think was the reason for that smile?
Waking up every single morning and then trying to fix your hair, knowing that it won't look well. Always looking at the weather report, trying to find out, do I need to bring a hat? Taking a shower, seeing your hair just fall out. All of that just went out of the window. And I didn't have to worry about anything. Ever anymore. I felt like this huge weight falling on my shoulders. Looking back at the very first picture I took of me being bald, I look so happy. And I still am. Whenever I'm passing by people who seem to have the same problem, I always think to myself, they're in the same shoes, and I hope that somehow I would be able to help them, because I know how they're feeling and I know how difficult it is. My parents, I just came home and they were like, oh, okay, this is weird. I just said like, okay, look, my dad's been bald for 30 years. He said, yeah, your hair was falling out. And my mom was like, okay, I have to clean up your hair anyway. I just see it. And it's inevitable. And I was like, you know what? It's going to be cleaner this way. They were eventually like happy that I am. And I'm just glad it happened right now instead of me waiting for another 10 years and maybe being even more miserable. The moment that you shave it all off, nobody is going to make fun of you anymore. And they're going to be very happy for you. And the people who do make remarks, when you talk to them and they see how happy you are, and they're going to be happy for you as well. And my friends, they saw me being more happy and they sensed me being more happy. I cannot reiterate how much or how happier I am right now than I used to be. And that I know for a fact. And the question comes up like, oh, when you shave your head because you're shaving your head or you're bald, and then you have to say, okay, actually I'm bald and I just took the plunge. Even then, at sense, they don't know you, but if you tell like the story of how it happened, they'll be like, oh, I'm so happy for you. If people ask you questions, talk about it. There hasn't been a single person that I've met that says like, oh, you look so bad with your bald head. No one. You know what? You make such a big deal out of it, but at the end, it's actually not that much of a big deal. From the moment you take the plunge, you sit back and you think like, oh, okay, you know what? This isn't so bad. What I'm saying right now is I wasn't probably the only person going through with it. There were also a lot of other people who were going through the same thing, but they just kept it hidden. As did I. Also, I think I really would have struggled, especially through my college years right now, which are really a way of being depressed as a young adult. I maybe would have been way more depressed if I still had the hair and still had to struggle with it. That's like the main thing. Like I can just wake up, I can put on a t-shirt and I can just go about my day. Not just look in my mirror, trying to comb my hair, trying to wash my hair again and again, maybe putting some products in my hair to try and make it look better. Every one of those things and those thoughts are just gone.
Is there anything else as you look back, any other message that you'd like to send?
It's just that huge weight that just falls off your shoulder. The moment that you see your hair lying on the floor in the barber room or in your sink, and you look in the mirror and you see like, wow, okay, this is it. This is the new me. Just live on with your days and you're not gonna have any of those worries that you used to have waking up every single day. And that's like the main thing I think for me is like, there were days and there were moments when you wake up and you're like, oh, I'm going to be in classes all day now and people are going to notice and they are going to say things. Like from the moment that you take the plunge and you shave it all off, nobody's going to say anything. They'll just look at you and like, okay, he's bald, whatever. I think that's especially for you. You have to come and come to grips with that. Like, it's very painful right now, but for the moment that you shave it all off, like it's not really going to be a big deal anymore for you and for any other people. And more than anything, they'll probably be more happy seeing that you are so way more happier than you used to be. It's your life that you're living through, and if you took the decision and you're happy, it's going to work out. The biggest issue was like the age. Because I do see a lot of people who are going bald at around 20 and early 20s, but I haven't seen a lot of people who were going through it at the age of 16. I think that's the main thing that I wanted to say, like, if you're going through that same boat, it's gonna be fine. And the thoughts that you have, like, oh, if I shave off my head, I'm gonna be like a skinhead, or my shape of my head is not going to look well, like, no, don't worry. And that's also why I wanted to come. I've been meaning to say the story for like a few years now. I've been thinking like maybe I should tell this story. Like my friend yesterday told me, oh, you're going to do that interview. I was telling your story. Is that really something that you want to do? Is that not weird talking about that story? Or do you really want to talk about the story? And I was like, yeah, man. If I can even help just one single person, like, that's a good thing.
Very, very well said.